But to see you grow up in the same environments that you come from, like from Philly, for real, right? And we from the Bronx, for real. So even your vernacular, things that you were saying, it was like, it resonated to us.
That's why I could relate to Sheikh. He went to school with killers. Now, the FBI try to hire you and everything.
Being a rat.
Yeah, pretty much. Being a snitch.
Instead of vernacular, right? Quraysh.
No.
Li'ilafi Quraysh.
No.
Allah, He appeals to them. This is a messenger who came from you, from your people, from your kith, your kin, for the authorities, spying on the Muslims, recording the Muslims, and then reporting back to those people.
Bickering over small issues and try to really help the community to really be upon Islam, like the right way.
So the line has to be drawn with loving and hating for the sake of Allah, sincerely, and not picking and choosing who you want to hate and who you want to love. And it's within your reach.
It's within your grasp.
But you gotta earn it.
Don't let him be on the member with his sword fool y'all. He know how to use it too. Welcome back to another episode of the Worldly Life Podcast. As y'all can see, I shot one 3 weeks ago with Mufti Ibn Muneer. He don't need no introduction, but I want to redeem myself because I was very nervous. Just imagine y'all sitting here with y'all goat in front of y'all. And that's what Mufti Muneer was to us. May Allah bless him and reward him. He studied at Medina University. And for those of you who don't know, Medina University is like, for us who play basketball, it's like going Division I, the highest level. So that's a huge accolade and that's a huge accolade and a huge accomplishment for anyone who makes it to those type of universities as a student of knowledge. Number two, he studied hadith. He got his master's in that field, which is another high level. You get what I'm saying? You got SEC, you got the ACC,
Big East,
and you got the Big East. So it's levels.
It's levels.
But make no mistake, he not just hadith master or whatever. He's good in fiqh, usul al-fiqh. He's good in history, Arabic language, Quran, Hasbab al-Nuzul, you name it. Yo, it's safe to say, Allah bless the Sheikh and everything, not trying to replace him, but he's well rounded in every field. He could coach you.
No.
Vince Lombardi, he could coach you. Bruce Lee, he could coach you. If it's anybody, he could quote. And
ain't he from Philly?
And he from Philly, the Philly Bowl. We got the Philly Bowl here and everything. I told myself I got to be myself in this. So, alhamdulillah, thank you.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you.
My man.
Appreciate you for having us and everything like that.
Dope.
And he's a very humble brother too as well. So we're blessed to be in his presence. So we ask Allah to make us get the benefit from this video that you guys about to see from us.
I mean.
Yes. I just want to start off. I know Islam is not about color. Islam is, the religion is not about ethnicity, but it's also about representation. And Mufti, when you came on the scene for boys that come from the hood, when we seen someone go to Medina and come back with that knowledge, you don't know what it did for us. We was just some kids in the Bronx and we saw you, we was like, we could do that. It's easy sometimes, like a lot of massages we go to, we come from a West African background, but a lot of them grew back home in Africa. So it's a disconnect. But to see you grow up in the same environments that you come from, like from Philly, for real, right? And we from the Bronx, for real. So even your vernacular, things that you were saying, it was like, it resonated to us. Like for kids that wanted to study knowledge, but also come from a certain background. So for that, you are GOAT. Right. For us, you Michael Jordan for us. You know what I'm saying? So just want to give you those flowers for that.
And make no mistake, yes, he's currently still stinking knowledge. But at the same time, he's like that too. He went to school with the killers.
He went to school with the what?
Google LEX massacre. That's why I could relate to Sheikh. He went to school with killers. You get what I'm saying? Respectfully, all these mashaykhs and everything, we respect them and everything. I can't relate. I can relate to somebody like him. He went to school with killers. Not to praise that or anything like that, but I'm just trying to give you guys an example.
No.
And on top of that, don't let him being on the member with his sword fool y'all. He know how to use it too. That's something Philly. He not sore.
Subhanallah.
Okay, but Sheikh, we want to start off with because we got so many positive feedback off the last video. That we got over 100 comments and everything. So you mentioned that the FBI tried to hire you and everything, but some people wanted to know what's the ruling on a person of status taking on
Being a rat.
yeah, pretty much being a snitch. Let's keep
Instead
it
of
real.
vernacular, right?
Being a snitch.
Allah mustaan.
I want to know what's the ruling on that.
Allah mustaan. Tayyib. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. Thank you very much once again. Honestly mean that. The love, the respect, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, it's humbling, for real. You know, you meet different people from different backgrounds, different areas, different cities. It's a beautiful thing. And the thing that links us together, inshallah, is even more beautiful than that. You know what I mean? Like you said, you know, the religion and knowledge. And of course, there shouldn't be anything strange. There shouldn't be no apology needed. You don't need to make any type of introductions for having the ability to relate to the demographic. Demographic is extremely important. And of course, there are many Quranic verses and many hadiths, authentic hadiths in which the Prophet ﷺ speaks to the Sahaba and he talks about demographic. Quraysh. Li'ilafi Quraysh. Allah, He appeals to them. This is a messenger who came from you, from your people, from your kith, your kin. You know him, you know his background, you know his lineage, and he speaks your what? Your tongue. So that's one less excuse for you to deny, to reject, and to turn away. So think about that now. So, you know, we're going to get into that about what's the rule on being a rat? What's the rule on being a stool pigeon?
Pretty much.
You know, an informant, whatever the case may be, Allah Mustaan, singing. At the end of the day, we have to have these discussions about demographics and about supposed racism and supposed nationalism. Because many people, they get things confused. And let's be honest, let's keep it real, not to offend no one or nothing, but let's just be honest. We as a people, we're always the first to be accused of that. And we're the most welcoming people.
Facts.
That's reality.
That's facts.
Anybody from any country can come in, but is it the opposite? No.
Nah, it's not right.
But the moment it's some type of unity, some type of organization, some type of development, national. So that's from Shaitan.
No.
All right, so let's keep it real. You see someone that if you're in a doctor's office and the doctor comes into the room looking like you, sounding like you, that's going to have a metaphysical, indirect, some subconscious effect on you.
Yes.
And the mindset and the psyche of the patient is just as important as the physical matter.
No.
Sheikh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala, once he was ill and the physician went to him and he diagnosed him or whatever, and he said, you're reading too much. You're spending too much time reading, dim lights, the candles, whatever. You got to take it easy on yourself. So Sheikh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, may Allah have mercy on him, he says, don't you doctors say that the happiness and like the vibe, the chi, the energy of the patient has an effect upon the physical healing? Don't you believe that? And the doctor said, yes. He says, so that's what makes me happy. So how can you tell me to stop reading? So the moral of the story is seeing someone as a role model. This dude is similar to me, comes from this place, not with a silver spoon. That's going to have tremendous impact. And that is why there are going to be many shayateen who are going to try to get rid of that because they don't want to see the light spread.
No.
They don't want to keep people down and out under the excuse of, you're being a racist, you're being a nationalist. But people from Pakistan, from India, from Saudi, from Kuwait, from Yemen, all of them, they can take pride in their heritage, their lineage, no issue with that. But the moment, so we're not with that, we don't believe in that.
No.
And Islamically, that's falsehood. That's first and foremost. All right, tight. Let's move forward. As far as, what's the rule on being an informant, for the authorities, spying on the Muslims, recording the Muslims, and then reporting back to those people for whatever reason or supposed justification, then that's pretty clear. You get what I'm trying to say?
No.
Because it's just a basic rule. You lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas. That's a rule of life. No matter how hard you try to shake them off, no matter how hard you try to sleep on the other side of the bed, no matter how hard you try to, put a flea collar around the dog, you're going to get bitten with fleas.
No.
So they're going to start you off with, what you trying to prevent and protect, terrorism or an extremist, radicalizing, etc. That okay, yeah, that makes sense. Islam is against this. We're not against that. This is impermissible. No problem. And then they bait you in, and the next thing you know, we need you to lie, and we need you to be deceitful. And we need you to do this. We need you to set up this one. What you gonna do? Tell them no after they gave you all of those checks?
Yeah.
All of those Umrah trips?
Yeah.
All of those Hajj trips that they paid for, and you've been on a payroll. You get what I'm trying to say? And the Arabs, they have a proverb that says either akalatul butun istahyatul uyun. They say when the bellies eat, eyes are shy. When bellies are fed, eyes shy. So your belly is full. You're getting all that government money, just doing stuff that's not impermissible, for argument's sake. I just prayed Jumu'ah, and I told them how many Muslims are in the masjid. There's 200 people there. There's nothing wrong with that. Right? But then the more they feed you, and then all right, we need you to do this now. You see this guy, Ali Faisal, we need you to, we got some issues with him. We need you to put this in his bag before he goes to the airport. We need you to send him this message. We need you to record this conversation that he doesn't know about. What you gonna say? You gonna say, no, I can't? That's dishonorable? That's against my religion? The first thing they're gonna bring up is, well, I thought we were friends.
I fed you.
That's gonna come later. That's gonna come. The fangs don't come out until the last second. Don't forget that. That's a rule. The fangs only come out as a necessity, but they're gonna keep the fangs concealed for as long as possible. I thought we were friends. I thought you were good. I thought we were, against such and such. Oh yeah, I'm having second thoughts. Oh man, I'm disappointed, man. I thought you were different. I thought we were in this together to keep America safe. I thought. They're gonna try to guilt shame you. And then if you stand firm and they need what they need from you, then comes, well, what about such and such? And then now you're gonna be scandalized. We can set you up now. We got everything on paper, but you have nothing on paper. And that's a rule of any informant, of any organization. The first rule is they never directly pay you. There's always a proxy that comes to you with the envelope. Don't ever forget that. No. There's no receipt that you're going to get from them. But on their tab, they have what?
They have all the receipts.
Every check that they gave you. But you have what?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing. You have no proof that you were working for them, being paid by them. All right? Number two is that they're going to make sure that you can't, similar to the first point, you can't trace back anything. So that money that you took, you owe us. Because we didn't just force you into it, nor did we just compensated you, but we made you eat good. So now you can't prove that you took anything from us under contract. And number two, we now have direct access to set you up. So looking at it from this point of view, what's the ruling on being an informant for non-Muslims against Muslims? For argument's sake, it's permissible in the beginning, for argument's sake.
Yeah.
But know for sure, they're going to force you to sell your deen and to sell what remains of your honor. So there lies no doubt about the ruling of that.
No.
There lies no doubt about that.
No, it's clear.
And what it's going to lead to,
No.
let alone from the beginning. You get the point I'm trying to make? So that's evil. And, I would never, ever condone that. I would never allow that. I would never say that's permissible. I don't see any excuse or any justification for it. And all of these different wars and these different genocides, how these people were conquered, how these people were vanquished, because they always had inside help. Any war, any conquest, any human atrocity, you're going to find that they had scouts, that they had inside translators, that they had informants. How the heck did they conquer this whole country? How did they capture all these people, sell them into slavery? Because they had what?
Informants.
They had people on the inside. So you're responsible for all of that blood, all of those Muslims dying. You're responsible for all of that disrespect and desecration of those holy sites. You have a part of that as being a translator for their army, whether you realize it or not, being an informant for those people. And know for sure they're going to discard you whenever it's convenient.
And that's for every government. Right now we're talking about the FBI.
Any organization.
This for any organization.
Any organization. Of course, there are levels. It's like levels of kufr. There are levels of the hellfire.
Right.
Okay, there are levels of nifaq. You get what I'm trying to say? So some regimes are worse than others. Some are better than others. Some have more slime, less slime than others. But at the end of the day, you're getting an envelope from an anonymous person that you cannot trace. But they can what? Trace you.
Trace you.
Easily. You know where they live?
Nah.
You getting called on this type of number, meet here, this and that. They got everything on their advantage. The moment that it's convenient, they will throw you under the bus and discard you, literally. And that history has taught us how many times?
Multiple times.
Collaborators always end up like those whom they collaborated against from their own people.
With the Garvey movement, with the Nation of Islam, with the Black Panthers.
There you go. Absolutely.
There's always going to be some type of inside.
That's absolutely, and that's the reward of that evil. And the law tells us about the reward of a sayyah versus the reward of a hasana. The good deed is always going to come back good and positive.
Mm-hmm.
And the evil vice is always going to come back to haunt you and to bite you sooner or later.
No. So Mufti, my next question is, what do you say to Muslims that they see what's going on in places like Gaza, or they see what's going on in China, wherever it may be, and you have some scholars that say that you have to just take whatever the government do because it's a certain hadith that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that even if the rulers would hit your back, or you still have to take it.
Understood. Well, Allah, he clearly speaks to the Jews in the Quran, telling them not to confuse the truth with the falsehood, and not to conceal the truth while you know. Okay, so these are two things now. One is concealing the truth, and second is taking a little bit of truth and adding it and mixing it with a bunch of misconceptions and nonsense. So the concept of a ruler, you have to obey the ruler absolutely. You have to listen to a ruler absolutely. You have to keep silent. First and foremost is that's a huge, gigantic mixture. The Prophet ﷺ in those hadiths, he's talking about a Muslim ruler, an Islamic ruler that has oppression with him, that has sin with him. As long as he is Muslim, and as long as he's a legitimate ruler, you have to obey him. You have to listen to him. But we don't live in an Islamic or Muslim country or state. Our government is what? Blatant, open non-Muslims.
No.
So how does that even apply? That makes no sense.
Right.
Let alone the fact that every verse that you mentioned about obeying and listening and following, there are verses and hadiths that talk about enjoining the good, forbidding the evil, speaking for the truth, not selling out your deen, okay? Standing up for the truth no matter what, saying the truth even if the truth is bitter. All right, so you have to take all of the Quran and all of the Sunnah, and we can't take that which is convenient. All right, an oppressive husband, he's only going to tell his wife the verses that talk about obey the husband, respect the husband, listen to the husband. Absolutely. But what about the hadiths talking about treating the wife kindly?
No.
Respecting the wife, feed the wife, clothe the wife, put a roof over the wife's head. Or do you ever hear those? No. You'll never ever hear that, but it's all going to be kiss my feet. If you were on the back of a camel, you can't go to heaven without me, so on and so forth, because that suits his agenda. So we have to be careful of agendifying and weaponizing Quran and Sunnah for our whims and our desires. And what is more convenient for a regime than to promote and to propagate that which is in its own benefit? So the Muslim ruler and a non-Muslim ruler, any ruler, he has responsibility. He has a duty to protect, to serve, to uphold the law. Is this not the case?
No.
In our country, in the West, he takes an oath to uphold the Constitution and to protect the America from its enemies, internal or domestic. So it's not just about, I'm the ruler, I'm in charge, listen to me no matter what I say, no matter what takes place. La. All of the Quran, all of the Sunnah, in the proper light. So at the end of the day, we in the West, we don't live in an Islamic state. That's first and foremost. So that doesn't apply, period. Period. Okay? And from the values that our country takes pride in is freedom of speech. And obviously we know that isn't absolutely true, because there are many people with different things you do talk about, you will get silenced.
No.
But at the end of the day, there is a level of freedom of speech. And this is your haqq to speak up. So, I mean, you can't take something from the Middle East and apply it to, like you said, the Bronx. Nor can you take the culture, the religion, the society of the Bronx and force it down the throats of the people living in the Middle East.
No.
They would never accept that. So why do? Once again.
Yeah.
The demographic.
It's amazing that you bring that, because we tend to see that. Like, people try to bring the rulings, like in those countries, in the Middle East or anything, and try to apply the same rulings over here, and we're not living under like an Islamic government.
You got a tailor-made thobe. I know.
SubhanAllah.
But it's not going to what? It ain't going to fit my what? My arm.
Yeah.
It may fit on me, but it's going to be loose, or tight,
big,
or
tight, whatever it may be.
your button, or how can that? So you have a general thobe that's ready-made, one size fits all. There's some things was one size fits all. There's no Middle East black, white, yellow. These are the rules. But there are many things in which there's a specific size. You can't put this ring on my finger. It's too small on me. It's too big on you. You don't wear it on your ring finger. You wear it on your pinky. Well, how can that?
No.
So people, you can't take something that's tailor-made and then forcibly, that's the point now, forcibly throw it on something that doesn't fit.
Right.
And that's the chaos that we see in the Dawah scene today.
Speaking of the Dawah scene, and I know you coming from Philly, parts of what's going on in Philly, you see a lot of Muslim on Muslim violence. And you see a lot of people go to jail and they partake a certain part of Islam, a certain sect of Islam. and they come out and they keep that same kind of vulgar, that same kind of energy.
If it's a game.
Mentality.
Yes, that kind of mentality. And you talked about like it's a lot of crack going on in Philly. It's a lot of drug dealing going on in Philly. How important is it for people to stop bickering over small issues and try to really help the community to really be upon Islam like the right way?
First and foremost, you got to be love and hate for the sake of Allah. Loving and hating for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to hate evil, and you have to hate the people of evil no matter who they are, no matter where they come from, no matter what they look like. But that's easier said than done when the people that I'm the imam in the masjid, I'm supposed to be speaking out against this evil, but they my homies. The drug money is once again in the belly. I'm getting fed from the drug money. I'm getting protected by the goons. I'm getting clout. I'm getting status. I'm a coward, for real. I'm not a tough guy, but I got shooters and killers, right? So how am I denounce that behavior when you my homies? So there has to be a level of love and hate for the sake of Allah. You my brother. I want good for you, but if you continue to live that lifestyle, we can't hang out. Not because it's corny, it's this and that, but because it's haram. And it angers Allah and His Messenger. A Muslim can't have that type of friend and companion. So the line has to be drawn with loving and hating for the sake of Allah, sincerely, and not picking and choosing who you want to hate and who you want to love. All right. So al-ikhlas, first and foremost, is sincerity and loving and hating consistently. No matter who does this, no matter who says this, if they say to do it, I have to hate you for Allah's sake. And no matter who the person is, what the person looks like, tall or short, if a person brings this truth, I have to love them for Allah's sake. So it all starts with sincerity and loving and hating for the sake of Allah. Number 3, everything is fun and cool until it happens to your son or your little brother. Playing with guns, being in that lifestyle, it's fun. No doubt, it's fun, it's cool, this and that. Oh yeah, you know what I mean? But when that's your little son, when the coroner calls your home, for you to come to identify, then it's not what? It's not fun anymore. The game is over. You get the point I'm trying to make? Your quarter is out. The game is just a game over on the screen. So every time somebody is afflicted by gun violence, you need to say, all right, it's my job to now put a stop to this. Because it's impossible for me to allow another father to feel the pain that I'm feeling. This is my 16-year-old son shot dead in the street 7 times, point blank. I can't even, the janazah, we washing his body, blood is pouring everywhere. They're stitching up his face, stitching up his body in the janazah. Imagine what type of trauma that is to a father or a mother. Imagine that. Imagine that pain. So if it hurts you, the Prophet ﷺ, he instructs us to love for our brother what we love for ourselves. So if it hurts you and it's an indescribable feeling of losing your child, it's now your job to say, all right, we got to put a stop to this because I can't have you going through what I went through. But people, once again, they glamorize that lifestyle, they romanticize that lifestyle, they glorify that lifestyle until it hits home. And that's why you see different people, whether they rappers or gangsters or whatever they are, whatever they trying to be, you see them humbled at the funeral, broken down in tears. But that's what you sung about for 20, 30 years. That's what you glorified. That's what you romanticized. That's what you bragged about. Every song that you talked about, that was somebody's son. That was somebody's daughter. Now what? So we have to have the empathy and the sympathy. And we have to realize is that Allah Azza wa Jalla is just and everybody's going to get a taste. And obviously that applies to Gaza, as you mentioned as well. It's okay to turn a blind eye to Gaza until it happens in your country. Until you get bombed. Until it's your race, until it's your nation getting killed. Now it's, stand up for the oppressed. But what happened to that when it was these people? That's unfortunate. So, I mean, that's a long story. You know what I'm saying? In the first podcast, I mentioned some of the horrors that I've seen, that I've been through. Alhamdulillah, Allah saved me. And there are many reasons and many factors behind Allah saving me. First and foremost, Allah's mercy, Allah's grace. And of course, there are many human beings that Allah used to protect me and keep me out of that street life and away from that toxic negativity of Philly. If you're not into the grimy stuff, you're corny, you're a nut, you're this, you're that, you're new, and being righteous and being cool is corny and square and this and that and boring. Allah saved me from that, by Allah's permission. So you got to have somebody positive in your life. You got to have, once again, a role model. You got to have somebody that you can look up to. And a big part of a positive role model, it got to be somebody that you can feel and touch. It can't be someone that's too imaginative. Someone that's too in the clouds, too in the stars. I can never be like him. It got to be somebody like, from the block, from the such and such. That's him. He made it. he did this. He turned his life around. And that could be what?
That could be me.
It got to be something you can grab. It got to be something tangible. And I had many people like that in my life, alhamdulillah. So, you know, these discussions, they have to be had. We got to have these discussions, man.
And Mufti, what could we do more? Because it was a time in the Bronx, in our old neighborhood, where we was like, a lot of people was reverting to Islam, and we had them praying outside. And since we left, all that is gone. Right? Like, you know, like you kind of go to a different place in your life.
Right.
But we want to start going back, because we know that, like you said, if we could do it, I know we could go back into the hoods, and we could go back and like get, like, what is something that you would like advice you would give us, like young people, young Muslims that's trying to practice, that want to go back and save some of their people?
Understood. Well, you got to lead by example. And it's like, once again, the poet said, he said, live it up to me, I'll be living proof.
I like that one.
Say,
I like that one.
What? To the young black youth. That's a real line. Okay, so people need to be able to see it, and you got to show them that being righteous, being Muslim, practicing, praying is a cool, fun, hip thing to do.
No.
And being wicked, not praying, being in the streets, that's corny, that's whack, that's played out.
No.
And that you can be righteous and still enjoy your life. Because this is one of the misconceptions that people think, and they feel that they're going to miss out on life if they're righteous. And the people want to look down upon them if they're doing the right thing. You pray 5 times a day? Yeah, that's right. As a minimum. That's not counting 2 rak'ah for Fajr.
No.
The 4 for Dhuhr. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just a minimum, yes. 5 times a day. I have to stop what I'm doing, make wudu, and put my head on the ground and pray to my Lord. That's what makes you feel good. You living out there with those fake people in that fake world, you're gonna feel fake. So you gotta be living proof to the young people, to the young generation, that number one, it can be obtained. Number one.
No.
Knowledge, righteousness, piety is within your grasp. In the Bronx, in Philly, in this hood, in this ghetto, wherever you are, it's what? It's within your grasp. That's number one. Number two is that the feeling that you're going to get by being connected to your Lord and your Maker, your Creator, can't be explained in words. Can't be explained in words. That sweetness of faith can't be explained in words, and only those who have tasted it can experience it. So you say, come on, let's make a challenge. Let's come to the masjid with me, be with me for one day, and tell me how you feel at the end of the day. If you feel bored, if you feel tired, if you feel this and that, all right, you go back to your life. But if you feel a little bit good, then we're going to do it another day.
No.
And then they're going to taste it like, dang, that was all right.
Yeah.
I actually feel better today. I didn't need this to take my mind off of this and distract me. I actually feel good. I learned something today. You get what I'm trying to say? You know, so I think that those are some very important points. Leading by example, showing the people that is within reach, and getting them to taste the sweetness of the faith, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And then you got to make dua, and you got to realize that the guidance of the people isn't in your hands. Allah is He who guides, not us. Our job, we're just mere pawns.
No.
We do our job, we play our position, and we're patient with Allah Azza wa Jall's decree. But we do got to make the example. And everybody's not going to believe. Everybody's not going to do the right thing. And in any war, there are going to be casualties and victims. And that's the saddest part about the inner city urban lifestyle. Just like in the suburbs, and the white collar is no different. What we talking about this demographic is that they're going to be casualties. They're going to be people shot. They're going to be people in jail for the rest of their lives. They're going to be people that's going to be lost. They're going to be people that can never ever bounce back from this drug or this addiction. It's unfortunate, but we don't know who. Our job is to spread the message. Allah picks, chooses, and selects whom He wills, and never ever to look at the statistics, the abundance of people who are misguided and the minority of people who are guided. We're never to be deceived by numbers and statistics.
Obviously, we got to cut the podcast short. The Ramadan schedule is hectic, so inshallah, we're gonna have to reschedule with the Sheikh. Thank you for having us.
On that, that's why. It's a rule on that. Oh, mashallah. It's a rule on ice or no ice.
Yo, hold on. You said like the youth gotta see it,
that's
right?
That's right. That's right.
SubhanAllah.
Allah's
So they gotta
beautiful,
see
what? And Allah loves beauty.
Nah.
But all jokes aside, this is an example.
No.
Okay? You know, you have something nice, mashallah, obtained in the correct manner.
Halal.
I have to steal, I have to rob, I have to cheat, I have to do, no, I don't gotta look over my shoulder for this. I worked for this. I earned this. And these are the values that we have to teach our youth. And not to be too dramatic, but it happens. Mothers, fathers, they spoil their children. They give their children anything and everything whenever they want, and they never force them to work for anything.
Yeah.
And the moment they get in trouble or they get put on punishment, you can't get it. Where do you think you're gonna go for those material possessions?
No.
So we got to teach our sons and daughters. Listen, you got to work for it, and it's within your reach.
It's within your grasp.
But you got to earn it.
Yeah.
And these people out here flexing, flaunting, and flashing that stuff. 9 out of 10 of them didn't earn anything. And if they did earn it, the people who did earn it in an incorrect way, you can't enjoy it because you got to look over your back 24/7.
I like how you brought that up because many people look at Islam as only ibadah, only worship. You can't have this. You can't have the finest things in life. You can only just go to the masjid and pray. So I even had somebody where I work at. It was like, I don't practice Islam because they only tell you prayer and everything like that. And I was like, no, Islam encompasses everything you do in life. It's a way of life. It's not just a religion.
For sure.
And
Well, I mean, people live lawlessly. It ain't that Islam has too many rules. It's just you have no rules. You do whatever you want.
Yeah, we're still out.
As a kafir, there's no guidance. Eat whatever you want to eat, drink whatever you want to drink, live however you want to live. So of course, someone that's bringing discipline and rules, it's like a stepmom or a stepfather. He's mean. He may be mean, the stepdad, the stepmother, but it ain't that. It's just you were living without no rules. And this person is trying to bring some structure to your lifestyle, which is in your best interest. The initial reaction of the human being is to be rebellious. But for real, let's just look at what Islam says that you can't do, and what does Islam say you can do. Islam always tells us the things that we cannot do, and the haram things are minimal, and they're limited. Men cannot wear gold, men cannot wear silk. That's it. What color can a man wear? What fabric? Like you said, can you wear this? Can you wear this stone? It doesn't say anything about that. But it tells you what you can't do. Proving that the haram things are what? Always limited. And the lawful is limitless. But the shaitan, he's not gonna present it like that to the people. He's gonna hinder the people, and he's gonna address the people according to their whims and according to their desires. So we gotta break through that through statement, and like we said, living proof. Physical action, 3D. This is what Islam teaches. This is the true Islam, and you see it walking and talking, so you have no excuse unless you want to be misguided.
Mufti Ibn Muneer, appreciate you. Queens, appreciate you. Shout out to my face of Muhammad right here for another episode of the podcast. Inshallah, part 3 coming soon.
Jazakumullah khairan. Barakallahu fikum.
Hold on. I mean, I gotta ask him one more thing before we get
man.
on. One more thing
Okay,
for
one more.
Ramadan and everything like that. Sheikh, what advice would you give like people who are looking to non-Muslims who are looking for Ramadan, but they over the edge, but they don't know if they should go in. They don't want to accept Islam, but they want to actually practice it. What would you give those advice to those?
Clear. All right.
They practicing it, but they don't want to take the shahada.
Well,
they want to do it.
I understand. I think that the Muslim coworker or supervisor or employee or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the relationship may be, you're giving dawah to a non-Muslim. I think that your belief and your conviction and your deen has to be stronger than their doubts. Don't ever forget that. It has to be stronger than their doubts. Your faith in your life and your system has to be stronger than their skepticism. I make an example of confidence and knowing the product that you have. What's one of the most useful, groundbreaking, and widespread appliances in an American household with regards to cleaning? What makes cleaning so easy and so fast that most households have?
What, the mop?
Mop, maybe.
Vacuum.
Think vacuum cleaner,
Yeah.
electric. It saves you time, saves you bending over, clean your carpet, so on and so forth. So when did vacuum cleaners become popular in the United States? Anybody know? When did it become like a staple thing, like the TV?
In the early 90s?
No, it's older than that.
Older than that.
It's older than that. So do you know? No, way older than that.
Oh, wow.
Way older than that. Do you know how people used to sell vacuum cleaners back in the day? Door to door. Thank you. Door to door. So there's a vacuum cleaner company. I'm not going to mention the name of the company. Check out their sales gimmick. This is their sales pitch. The man would knock on the door. The housewife is going to come to the door because the men back in the day were at work. So the young housewife, she comes to the door. She opens up the door. The guy takes, literally, he doesn't say anything. He takes a ball of dirt and he throws it on her living room floor just like that. So she's erratic. Oh, what are you doing? He says, shh. Plugs it up. Shh. $39.99 is this vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
You get the moral of the story? He puts dirt in her house. He knows the power of his what? He knows that this is going to be amazing. It's going to knock you off your feet. It's going to knock your socks off. He has full conviction of the dynamics of this vacuum cleaner. So he has no doubt that she's going to purchase it. When she sees the magical power of this dirt being immediately removed from her carpet. But how many of us have that knowledge and faith and conviction in Islam talking to non-Muslims? Some of us may have doubts. Some of us have things that we don't understand. But the one who knows what this deen will do for you, that energy, inshallah, is going to translate to that non-Muslim. So it ain't nothing to talk about. Come on, we're going to the masjid. No, come on, come on. You're going to love it. Trust me. You're going to feel good. I guarantee you. You're going to be thirsty here. Let's keep it real. You're going to be hungry. You're going to think about eating. But I guarantee at the end of the day, you're going to feel a satisfaction that you never felt before. Is this not the case? You're going to feel a level of accomplishment. I conquered myself today. And it's 1 million people in the world, 1 million people in New York City, blah, 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 blah. They eat and drinking when they want. I'm sacrificing for something and someone greater. That's going to do something to your mind. It's going to change you. So if that's one day of satisfaction that you feel, imagine 2 days. Imagine the whole entire Ramadan. Imagine how good you're going to feel about yourself. And imagine what type of success that you're going to have, like I said, in the Worldly Life podcast, when you have control over yourself in sports. How many talented basketball players don't make it to the league because of lack of self-control?
Thousands.
That are 10 times better than the ones that get drafted, right?
That's right.
But they don't have the discipline and the self-control to cut this person off or this woman or the smoking. You got a bad drug test. No self-control. So Islam makes you a better human being. Spiritually, of course, first and foremost, the heart, the soul, mentally. Mental sharpness comes from fasting, controlling your nafs. And of course, the physical matter, the shell, the body. And that's what makes a great champion, is the one in the fourth quarter or overtime, is the one who sucks up the pain. He ignores the pain. He ignores the fatigue. Is this not the case?
That's facts. Thank you. Appreciate you. We're gonna cut it short, inshallah. We're gonna do another episode of the Worldly Life podcast with Brother Mufti Ibn Muneer. We gotta cut it short for the schedule. Appreciate y'all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. We off this. Don't get your funny up, get your Deen up.